Chapter 1: The Glamorous Lie. Hollywood sold you a fantasy. Video games made it look cool. Military recruitment videos painted a picture of high-tech warfare from the safety of an air-conditioned room. The reality, being a drone pilot isn't playing God from above. It's psychological warfare against yourself, and you're losing every single day. Meet the modern drone pilot, highly trained, technologically advanced, and completely unprepared for what this job actually does to your mind. You thought you were signing up for the future of clean, precise warfare. Instead, you got a front row seat to a psychological nightmare that nobody talks about. People think drone pilots just play video games for a living. They think you clock out and go home to dinner like nothing happened. They have no idea that you carry every face, every decision, every moment of impact with you forever. The distance doesn't make it easier, it makes it infinitely worse. Chapter 2: The Commute to Hell. Here's the first mind-breaking twist. Your commute to work is also your commute to war. Most soldiers deploy to combat zones. There's a clear physical and mental transition. They leave their normal world behind. But drone pilots, you live in both worlds simultaneously, and it's destroying you. You drive 45 minutes from your suburban home to a classified facility where you'll spend the next 12 hours hunting human targets on the other side of the world. At 6 a.m., you're making pancakes for your kids. At 8 a.m., you're tracking a suspected terrorist compound. At 6 p.m., you're back home helping with homework, pretending you didn't just witness an explosion from 7,000 miles away. Your daughter asks about your day, and you can't tell her that you spent it watching people through a camera lens. You can't explain that you know the layout of villages in Syria better than your own neighborhood. The psychological whiplash is incredible, and it happens twice every single day. This isn't just compartmentalization, it's psychological fragmentation. Most combat veterans have clear boundaries between war and peace, between deployment and home. You live in a perpetual state of deployed consciousness while physically present in peacetime suburbia. Your mind is at war while your body is at the grocery store. Chapter 3: The God Complex Trap. The military loves talking about precision strikes and surgical operations. What they don't tell you is that this perceived control is a psychological trap that will slowly drive you insane. When you can see everything from above, when you have hours to study your targets, when you can zoom in close enough to count buttons on someone's shirt, you start believing you have perfect information. You don't. You watch these people for weeks sometimes. You see them wake up, see their routines, see their families. You start thinking you know them. Then comes the order to engage, and suddenly all that intimate knowledge becomes a weapon against your own peace of mind. The technology creates an illusion of omniscience that no human mind is equipped to handle. You're making life and death decisions based on patterns of movement captured by cameras thousands of feet in the air. Every pixel could be a weapon or a water bottle. Every shadow could hide a combatant or a child. But here's the killer. Unlike soldiers in direct combat who make split-second decisions based on immediate threat assessment, you have time to think, time to doubt, time to replay every angle. That time doesn't make decisions easier, it makes them torturous. You analyze every detail until you're paralyzed by the weight of perfect information that's actually completely imperfect. Chapter 4: The Intimacy of Remote Killing. Traditional warfare has distance built into its violence. Artillery crews don't see individual faces. Fighter pilots engage at supersonic speeds. Infantry soldiers operate in the chaos of close combat, but drone warfare has created something entirely new and psychologically devastating. Intimate, premeditated violence from a distance. In traditional combat, you might see your enemy for seconds before engagement. You watch yours for hours, sometimes days. You see them eat meals, interact with their children, argue with their spouses. Then you're asked to end their lives based on intelligence reports and movement patterns. This creates a unique form of psychological trauma that's breaking pilots faster than the military can train them. You're simultaneously the hunter and the witness, the executioner and the documentary filmmaker. Every strike is recorded, archived, reviewed, Every decision is replayed in high definition from multiple angles in perpetuity. You can remember the exact pixel coordinates of strikes you made 5 years ago. The technology doesn't let you forget anything. Everything is recorded, everything is analyzed. Your mistakes are preserved in 4K resolution forever. Your successes haunt you just as much as your failures because you watched every moment in excruciating detail. Chapter 5: The Accountability Paradox. Here's where it gets really twisted. The same technology that's supposed to make warfare more precise also creates an unprecedented level of scrutiny and accountability that's psychologically crushing. Every movement of the drone, every decision, every trigger pull is recorded and reviewed by multiple levels of command. This creates an impossible paradox. You're simultaneously given godlike power to end lives from thousands of miles away, while being subjected to intense micromanagement and second guessing of every decision. You're expected to make perfect choices in imperfect situations, with imperfect information, under perfect surveillance. You're told you're a warrior, but you're treated like a technician. You're told you're saving lives, but you're judged on body counts. You're told you're the future of warfare, but you're haunted by the past of every mission. Every engagement is analyzed not just for tactical effectiveness, but for legal compliance, ethical considerations, and political ramifications. The pressure to be perfect is inhuman. Every decision you make will be scrutinized by lawyers, politicians, and military brass who weren't there, didn't see what you saw, and don't understand the split-second nature of the choice you had to make. Yet they'll judge you with the benefit of hindsight and political considerations you never had access to. Chapter 6: The Shift Change Trauma. In traditional combat, battles have natural rhythms. Firefights end. Patrols return to base. There are moments of peace, however brief. But drone warfare never stops, and this creates a unique form of temporal trauma that's absolutely breaking people. When your shift ends, another pilot takes your seat. Your mission continues. Your targets remain in the crosshairs. You leave work knowing that someone else is picking up exactly where you left off. The target you've been tracking for 3 days doesn't get a break just because you need to go home. Someone else will be watching their children play while their parents have no idea a missile could be coming. This creates something unprecedented: collaborative killing across time zones. You've handed off targets to other pilots and come back the next day to find out they've been engaged.
This is the target data.
You tracked them,
Understood.
studied them,
Engaged.
knew their patterns, but someone else made the final decision. It's like a relay race where the baton is a human life. Your war doesn't end when you clock out, it just transfers to someone else. You go home knowing that the decisions you made during your shift will ripple forward through other people's shifts, other people's triggers, other people's consciences. The psychological burden is shared, but somehow that makes it heavier, not lighter. Chapter 7: The Network Effect. But here's the modern warfare twist that really breaks minds. You're not just operating one drone in one location against one set of targets. Advanced drone pilots manage multiple platforms simultaneously across different time zones, different conflicts, different moral and legal frameworks. It's psychological multitasking at a level that no human being should be expected to handle. At 10 a.m. Nevada time, you might be providing overwatch for troops in Afghanistan. At 11 a.m., you switch to surveillance operations in Syria. At noon, you're coordinating with special operations in Somalia. 3 different wars, 3 different rules of engagement, 3 different sets of lives in your hands. All before lunch, you develop this weird temporal displacement where you're living in multiple time zones mentally. It's 2 a.m. in one theater where you're tracking a high-value target, but it's noon in another where you're providing overwatch for a convoy. Your body is in Nevada, but your mind is scattered across the globe. The cognitive load is staggering. You're not just fighting one war, you're fighting several wars simultaneously, each with different allies, different enemies, different stakes. Your brain isn't designed to handle this level of global consciousness. Most people can barely manage the stress of one job. You're managing multiple life and death situations across multiple continents in real time. Chapter 8: The Coming Home Problem. Most combat veterans struggle with reintegration after deployment, but drone pilots face a different challenge that nobody understands. You never left home to begin with. There's no homecoming because there was no departure. There's no transition period because the transition happens twice daily. Into war in the morning, out of war in the evening. Your family thinks you were never deployed, so they don't understand the symptoms. You never left town, so how could you have PTSD? You never dodged bullets in some foreign country, so how could you be traumatized? But you've seen more combat, made more life and death decisions, and witnessed more violence than most infantry soldiers ever will. This creates a unique form of invisible injury that society has no framework for understanding. We have parades for returning veterans, support systems for combat survivors, recognition for those who served in harm's way. But what support system exists for someone who commuted to war from suburbia for 3 years? You've been in more firefights than most Marines, but you've never been shot at. You've seen more death than most medics, but you've never been in physical danger. You've made more combat decisions than most officers, but you've never left your home state. How do you explain that to people? How do you get help for trauma that doesn't fit any existing category? Chapter 9: The Future Nightmare. Here's the real twist that should terrify everyone. The psychological toll on drone pilots is so severe that it's driving the military toward fully autonomous weapon systems. The human cost of remote killing is becoming too high, so the solution isn't to stop remote killing, it's to remove humans from the equation entirely. The military is seeing unprecedented levels of PTSD, depression, and suicide among drone pilots. Their response isn't to question the ethics of remote warfare. It's to develop AI that can make kill decisions without human intervention. You're not just fighting current wars, you're training the machines that will fight future wars without any human oversight at all. Every decision you make, every pattern you recognize, every target you identify is feeding algorithms designed to eventually replace you. Your trauma is literally their training data. You're teaching machines to kill by demonstrating how killing destroys humans. It's the ultimate irony of modern warfare. The retention crisis in the drone pilot program is so severe that the military is actively working to eliminate the need for human pilots altogether. They can't fix the psychological problems, so they're automating them away. The future of warfare isn't just removing humans from the battlefield, it's removing human decision-making from warfare entirely. Chapter 10: The Hidden Cost. The military promotes drone warfare as cost-effective. No boots on the ground, no risk to American lives, precision strikes that minimize collateral damage. But they're not calculating the real costs: the psychological toll on operators, the long-term medical care for combat trauma, the family dissolution, the suicide rates, the constant turnover. When you factor in the mental health costs, the family counseling, the medical care, the early retirements due to psychological injury, and the training costs for constant pilot turnover due to burnout, drone warfare isn't the cost-effective solution it appears to be. It's just shifting the cost from immediate military casualties to long-term psychological casualties. The military has a retention crisis in the drone pilot program. People wash out faster than they can train replacements. The psychological demands are unsustainable, but the military keeps pushing for more missions, longer hours, more simultaneous operations. They're burning through human beings like they're consumable resources. You're not just a casualty of war, you're a casualty of the technology that was supposed to make war more humane. The machines were designed to reduce human suffering, but they've just created new forms of suffering that we don't know how to treat or even recognize. Conclusion: the price of playing God. The real twist of modern warfare isn't the technology, it's the human cost of that technology. We've created weapon systems that can strike anywhere on Earth, but we haven't created human beings who can psychologically handle operating those systems. The future of warfare was supposed to make conflict cleaner, more precise, less costly. Instead, it's created a new kind of casualty: the remote warrior, wounded not by enemy fire, but by the impossible burden of playing God from a cubicle. People ask if you regret your service. You don't regret serving your country. You regret that your country asked you to serve in a way that no human being should have to serve. The technology outpaced our understanding of what it would do to the people operating it. Your life sucks as a drone pilot because you're living proof that the future of warfare is broken. You're the canary in the coal mine of modern military technology, and you're dying slowly, invisibly, while the world celebrates the precision and efficiency of the machines you operate. The drone warfare program is a psychological experiment being conducted on military personnel without their informed consent. You signed up to serve your country, not to be a test subject for the limits of human psychological endurance. But that's exactly what you became, and the results of that experiment are clear. Humans aren't designed for this kind of warfare. The price of playing God from a distance isn't measured in dollars or even in enemy casualties. It's measured in the slow psychological destruction of the people asked to wield that godlike power, and that price is higher than any military
The
budget can
hidden
account for.
cost.